What is up, guys? Delboy here. So Lawrence Okolie outpoints Isaac Chamberlain over 10 rounds to win a unanimous decision in, quite frankly, a terrible fight. The styles just didn't gel. There's a lot of clinching, there's a lot of holding. I feel that the start that Isaac Chamberlain had was partly responsible. He kind of felt that punch power from Lawrence Okolie, and I think he went onto the defensive, and he kind of went into sparring partner mentality. And we heard a lot about the sparring of Isaac Chamberlain beforehand. He sparred the likes of Usyk, Deontay Wilder, guys like that. And yeah, he has some subtle tricks. He's decent defensively, but, you know, has the sparring actually had a detrimental effect? Because he kind of slipped into that mode tonight, to be quite honest. But yeah, he got dropped early with a right hand. Now, I couldn't see if it actually connected, but he wasn't actually complaining. He apparently got caught with a right hand in the first 60 seconds, I believe. But he beat the count. He got up and continued fighting. After the knockdown, I felt Okolie was being nice and aggressive. He landed a good body shot. He landed a couple of solid jabs, and he was looking for that right hand. Round 2, Chamberlain actually had a point deducted for holding, and from that point it just turned into a wrestling match. When clean shots were landed, it was Okolie who seemed to have better of it. He seemed to land with the better shots. I think in the third round, Okolie caught Chamberlain with like a cuffing hook, which kind of buzzed Chamberlain, and it was just really scrappy. And like I said, when there was something landing, it was usually coming from Okolie. You know, Chamberlain would get through with the odd jab here and there, but it was really few and far in between. Round 4, again, both fighters were warned for holding. Okolie, still the more aggressive guy. He actually hurt Chamberlain again in the 6th round. Okolie landed a lovely chopping right hand that dropped Isaac Chamberlain. Lucky for Chamberlain, it was at the end of the round, so he saw out the round. After that, you know, Chamberlain looked just shot in terms of confidence. You know, he remained in a defensive shell for the rest of the fight. You know, Okolie was just imposing his size, imposing his will, looking for hard shots, and it went to a decision. I didn't give Chamberlain a single round. Lawrence Okolie clearly won. It was a terrible fight, and I really struggled to sort of sit through it. But yeah, in Okolie's defence, and I'm not the biggest fan of Okolie, I did feel he was trying to make it a fight. He was trying to land hard shots. I think it was mainly due to Isaac Chamberlain kind of going into the defensive from essentially the first 60 seconds, you know. Regardless of that, Okolie should have still done a better job of gauging the distance, you know, creating punch space, things of that nature. But I think the negativity was all on Chamberlain's side, to be quite frank. And in my prediction video, I picked Okolie by knockout. I felt that at some point, Chamberlain would just kind of walk onto something, and I got that wrong. But what I said in the prediction video, I mentioned that I felt there's a strong chance that Isaac Chamberlain would have a deer in the headlights type moment, where the whole magnitude of the event will just catch up with him and he wouldn't perform. And I think that happened. He wasn't ready for this fight, and it showed. You know, he was in the ring, but he wasn't. He just reverted back to type. He reverted back to what he knew, and you know, he's a great sparring partner, and that's what he turned into in there. He turned into a hard target, an elusive target, but a guy who wasn't really fighting with any ambition. And I like Isaac Chamberlain as a person. He seems like a great guy, but does he have the right sort of personality to be a great fighter? Does he have the self-confidence to be a great fighter? I'm not sure. He obviously has some defensive skills. He wouldn't be used by guys like Deontay Wilder or Alexander Usyk as a sparring partner if he had nothing to offer. There's something there. He has some defensive ability, and there is some sort of talent there, but if you can't get it together on fight night, then you're never gonna climb the ranks in the pro game. And I wonder where Isaac Chamberlain goes from here. I wonder how this defeat affects him. And I think it's a long way back. Not because he lost, but because of how he lost and how he looked. I wonder how he's going to take this. I'm sure he's going to get back in the gym and he's going to work hard. But when he gets into a fight of any sort of significance, how's he going to cope with the pressure? Is my question. He's a tough guy. He's fought with a dislocated shoulder. He took some big shots against Okolie. He's not like shy to pain or shy to taking some damage. It's not that. It's just how he handles pressure and how he handles a big event. I'm not sure how he comes back from this. He needs to go down to Southern Area level, start again. Maybe even fight Wadi Camacho again. As for Lawrence Okolie, he's got a hell of a lot of improvements to make. I think his jab needs to be more consistent. He needs to do a much better job at dictating the range. Keeping guys on the end of his punches, keeping guys at the end of his reach, because on the inside he's not particularly great. Maybe he should do a better job of actually trying to create space on the inside to throw shots. But yeah, he does have a lot of improvements to make. I think Okolie is slowly getting better. He's not quite as raw as he was when he first turned over. He has made some improvements, and I think he will learn from this Chamberlain fight. He was fighting a guy who was very elusive, who was negative, and I think he will learn from it. He looked terrible, but this is the type of fight that he's going to learn from. It was the first time he fought at the top of the bill. It was the first time he fought somebody who a lot of people felt could beat him. So it is a first for Lawrence Okolie. He would have learnt some things, and I'm sure he'll go back to the drawing board and make some improvements. A lot of people are writing Okolie off, and I can see why. I don't think he's going to be a world champion personally, but I wouldn't. It is still very early. It's still very early. He does have things going for him. He's a big guy at the weight. He's 6'5". He's got a long reach. He's got some good power. There are things to work with there. He's got a little bit of speed. He just needs to get the right training in. He needs to get the right fights at the right time. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he's matched. Because right now, I don't think he would beat Matty Askin, who is a British Cruiserweight champion. I don't think he'd beat him. Maybe he could beat him in 12 months' time. But right now, I think that is very, very risky. He spoke about the Welsh Cruiserweight, Craig Kennedy. I think that'd be a decent fight for Lawrence Okolie. Craig Kennedy's a guy who is very defensively vulnerable, but he will come to fight. He's got a little bit of power. He'll throw down. That could be a good, exciting fight. But again, there's a little bit of risk there. Kennedy is very, very open, and his chin isn't the best as far as I'm concerned. But he will throw down. He's not going to do a Chamberlain and kind of just go into a defensive posture. He'll fight, and he does have a little bit of power. So it could make for an exciting fight, but what sort of Kennedy will do, he'll give Okolie the openings to land those big shots and maybe even get a devastating knockout. I think that'd be a good fight for Lawrence Okolie right now, to be honest. The issue is for Eddie Hearn. Now he's kind of headlined Lawrence Okolie. It's kind of pointless going back to 6-rounders against nobodies. You kind of set your stall out early, so a lot of people are going to be expecting decent fights for Okolie from now on. I think the Kennedy fight is ideal. If they can't get Kennedy, even somebody like Wadi Camacho. I might have said that Isaac Chamberlain could fight Camacho again, but I wouldn't be mad for Lawrence Okolie to fight Wadi Camacho, because Camacho, he's like an English level fighter, but he's a guy who is going to come there with some ambition. He'll give it a go, I think at this stage now, Okolie needs to be fighting guys at a certain level. I'd be happy with the level of a Wadi Camacho or a Craig Kennedy, guys like that. What do you guys think? Peace.